Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here today with Laura from Burning Witches to talk about the upcoming album, The Witch of the North.
Yeah.
How's it going with you?
Good. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to chat about the upcoming record. I have a bunch of questions for you, and perhaps the first one is an easy one. How does it feel not to be the new girl on the block anymore?
Yeah, now we can tease Larissa, all of us together. Yeah, no. yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't have the newbie teasing thingies going on anymore. Yeah. Actually, all of us, okay, except for me, of course, because I don't live in Switzerland, knew Larissa already a bit. But she still gets the stupid jokes now, so I'm happy it's not me anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that you see yourself graduating to a more veteran role within the band, and there's another person that they can pick on.
Yeah. Poor Larissa. Yeah, no, she knows them already. She can take it. She's like, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Where do you see the biggest growth in the band from the previous album to this album?
Yeah, I mean it's also a hard question because it also can be, I think, yeah, your opinion, you know what I mean? But I love that this time again we took more of a theme, and because we started to write more for a theme, it feels more like story-based songs, and some of them are, not all of them, but I personally really love that. So because of that, I think there's a little bit more dynamic in the song structures. Yeah, I personally really love that. So I think that's, for songwriting, I think it's now a little bit better than before again, but we always, of course, we try to improve everything every time, you know. But yeah, I just hope that people agree with me, you know. But I think this is really my favorite album from the whole Burning Witches until now. So
I really like the sound that you guys put together for this record. I like everything about this album in terms of how everything kind of comes together, from structure to sound to the themes. And that's where I want to go first. Where did you guys pull the inspiration for the themes on this album?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I actually write the songs, but they did give me the theme because we were going for a theme there. So Romana was just playing something, and it kind of sounded, it was a riff, and it sounded kind of Vikingish, you know. So she, and I don't know who was with her, but they came up with Witch of the North. And they came to me, hey Laura, write something with this song, Witch of the North. Oh, okay, you know, so, okay.
No pressure.
Witch of the North, yeah. What should I do? What should I do? Maybe Druids. Yeah, okay, anyway, I put everything a little bit on paper, started researching. And it's hard because there's, if you, at first glance, there's no really like witch figure there, but there is actually a goddess, Frigg or whatever you want to pronounce it, I'm not sure, but it's spelled Frigg. And sometimes people believed it was the same as Freya, so the goddess. But yeah, sometimes not. You know, it differs from story to story, from myth written down to another place where it's written down. So I basically combined those a little bit. And yeah, I got most of it from the Vikingish myth. So yeah, Ragnarok, Valkyrie, stuff like that. But I also took a little bit of freedom, to instead of taking this Frigg figure to take Freya then, because it's more well known. And the witches that Frigg was the goddess from, you know, she would give them a power to look into the future and bless or curse. And they were called, if I pronounce it right again, Volvas. So Volva, dots on the O, 2 dots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're basically almost the same as druids, because they would be old and wise and knew the culture, knew the tribe, maybe knew the lineages of people, you know. So they're kind of the keeper of this culture in a way. And yeah, druids are kind of doing the same, and they have and of course it's Celtic, so it's a little bit different culture. But I wanted people to understand what I was talking about, so I said, let's just do Freya, druids, done. Let's do it like that. And make a little bit of my own story there, of course, maybe, but okay. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I know at least that those goddesses were sometimes seen as one. And yeah, I like that. So basically, it's all based on this mythology of the Norse. And where was I? I'm sometimes talking so much. I'm like, oh, where did I stop now? Where do I have to go on? Okay, so we had this as the main theme, right? So this is where the 9 worlds comes from the Ragnarok, where there are 9 worlds that were connected with the tree Yggdrasil. They were, when Ragnarok is there, they all fall down, and there's this Norman Gund, or whatever you want to call it. I'm so bad at pronunciation. I should have prepared this. For next time, I'm going to prepare it. Anyway, look it up. The dragon of those worlds, it comes down from and it just burns everything and stuff like that. It's a big war. I was like, well, I want to write something about that. And yeah, it's just it's a mix of all those kind of mythology, but there are also some just, old school metal hymns like We Stand as One, and Circle of Five is just, let's do it about us and about the witches, Circle of Five, It's a bit just, so there are a bit different things too, but yeah, because it's fun to take some freedom, I think. And so what else? I took some inspiration from Robin Hobb's The Life Ship Traders, from a fantasy book writer. In The Dragon's Dream, and actually there is also one song that I took inspiration from The Witcher, from the Netflix, because I watched the Netflix one, and then I started to read the books, and I was like, whoa, it's exactly the same as as the series, so I stopped reading them. But yeah, I love that witch character Jenny, or Jennifer later on, so it's inspired by her. The Tainted Ritual is inspired by that character, so different inspirations, but mainly the Norse mythologies.
So when you're working on these lyrics, how much do you have as far as the musical side of the tracks are concerned in order for you to write these songs and come together with these concepts? Do you have a little bit of a backbone of what the song is going to sound like or feel like, or are you kind of creating these in the vacuum, and then once you have the song, you try to merge them together?
Actually, what I did, because I normally do this whenever I have like a good idea, like just a few words, right? It doesn't have to be a whole song, just a few words. I write them down. So basically, at some point, I have a whole list. So I have this list of words, maybe, I at least 20, I hope, to write down around this theme. And then whenever I get a song sent, because sometimes it's just a song structure with guitar chords, or sometimes they already recorded it, Romana and Larissa together, so I already had some riffs and chords and everything together a bit more, and eventually they went into the rehearsal room to put everything together. So because it's always nice to also feel the drums and the live vibe to know what you're doing with writing it. But it doesn't really matter that much. I just start with whatever she gives me. And then I look through this list. First I listen to what she sent me, of course, obviously. And then I'm thinking, okay, what would fit for this song, So then I go to my inspiration list and I think, oh, that could be really cool, And then basically I start with one verse, one chorus, and I send it back. So most of the time the words I wrote down are going in the chorus. And I try to, hopefully, I always love it when I actually have a clear idea about where the story should go in the song, because if I don't, I already know almost up front I have to rewrite it in the end to make it have more sense. But sometimes I just have inspiration for nice words and I write them down, But I try to stay a bit organized while writing the songs. Doesn't always happen, but so I try to make it in an organized way, and then I send it back to Romana. She sends some feedback back, and I will also maybe tell her, hey, we should do this because it's cool for the idea I have for the lyrics, to do maybe a bridge there instead of only guitar solo, stuff like that. So that's also what we talk about. So we go back and forth. She goes to everyone in the rehearsal room, and they, everyone gives it their own instrumental interpretation. It gets back to me again, and then I really try to make a good demo, with as detailed as possible. And in the studio, we finish it. And sometimes we even, you know, add total new stuff. For example, the intro of Flight of the Valkyries. I didn't even know it existed. I was in the studio and they said, "Oh, here, Laura, you have an intro." Okay, now great. Oh, Laura, sing something. Oh, okay. You know, it's like that. But it can be fun. I really like now I actually really love that the song is a bit longer with the intro, and then it goes.
That intro caught me off guard when I first heard the song, because I was like, okay, we're on for some burning witches. This is going to kick ass. And then it's slow, and I'm like, what's happening here? But then once it gets going, it really gets going, and that song kicks some serious ass.
Yeah, I like that song. Yeah, it's a nice. I think it's one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like it. Whatever. Yeah.
That's why you guys picked it for a single. Otherwise, it would have been one of the singles.
Sorry?
That's why you guys picked it as one of the singles. Otherwise, probably wouldn't have been one of them.
You expected it was one of the singles. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Once you look into the album and you get deeper into the record and you start to feel the structure, I thought it was really interesting that you guys had an intro, you guys have an outro, you have the ballad right in the middle of the record that breaks the album into two. The album is very equal on both halves, but this style of intro, outro, ballad in the middle has a little bit of a classic approach to it. Nothing new to you guys. You guys have done it in previous records. Is this a structure that you guys feel comfortable with? That you like this style?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're always like, we gotta have a ballad, you know. So we always have a ballad, and where else do you put the ballad, right? Yeah, it's kind of always like this. So yeah, we love to have just. I mean, it's fun for, you know, having something different on the album, and we all like that there's a bit of variation. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
The sound on this record, there's two things I want to mention to you and get your input. One is I liked the elements that you guys used on this record. I felt like it was a little bit different from the previous album, having sometimes these almost things that added, how can I put it, atmosphere to the song. It made the song, the story that you're telling would come to life, because you would hear these noises, you would hear these conversations in the background, like voices, almost like little witches talking in the background, you know, all these things happening. How important are those elements for the songs that have a really deep theme?
For the songs, I think it's. I mean, for the songs, I mean, if you look at what makes a song a good song, it's not these things, but I think as you know, most metal listeners, they like to listen to the whole album. You know what I mean? So it's more like an experience there instead of just the songs. But I wouldn't say it's important for the songs, but it is important for the experience. And I really love it personally because I just love this cinematic feel. It's almost like you're reading a book, but you're listening to it. You know what I mean? It gets this indeed a bit of the feel. Yeah, I like it because of that. And it's just, I can't say anything. That's the reason why I like it. Yeah.
The other element of the sound, obviously, we have to go back to Larissa. It's her first record with the band. We already talked a little bit about her. But how do you feel the transition has been with her? I mean, you guys have had new band members with the last two records, you being one of them with the previous record, and now Larissa with this record. How was the transition specifically in the studio with her? Do you think everything went as smooth as it could possibly be?
Yeah, it was kind of the same, I think, as usual, to be honest. We did it exactly the same, I think, because she could record at home and then some things in the studio, but they did it together. Well, the nice thing now is, of course, that she also lives in Brugge. Or Broek. Do I pronounce it right? Broek. Now you hear the Swiss there better. That's the way you should. So the nice thing now is that they could record together, you know, and Sonia had to come to the studio, of course, so it was also together, but now it's kind of like more simultaneously, if you know what I mean. It's a little bit easier because she lives here. So I think actually it got a little bit easier even, because it's for organizing, it's just easier.
Now, enough about guitar playing, enough about the record. Let's talk about your vocals. Did you feel more comfortable on this album? I had a sense that you were more yourself. Like there was no restraints. It's like, this is me now. Like am I seeing something that's not there, or am I right? I just felt like there was something different from you on this record vocally. Like I felt like you were not as controlled. I felt like you were more... relaxed, perhaps.
I think you're in a way, you're right. You're actually the second person that says this. Are you saying this because you felt it or you read it somewhere?
No,
You felt it
haven't talked
too.
to anybody about the
Cool.
record. I just listened to the album yesterday.
Yeah, you really did. Cool. Okay.
I felt that way
So
about it.
I was just curious for myself there because actually the more people say it, and I think it's because I just got more comfortable with the style also in general. So it comes more natural to sing with so much distortion. Because I could sing with distortion before, but I wasn't used to using it so often, like all the time, you know. So I felt like last time when I recorded, it was a bit more straining for me. And maybe you can hear that. Now it just comes more natural because I got really used to it using so much distortion all the time. And okay, of course, the more experience you have, the more natural it sounds, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering about it because now you're the second person that says it. Yeah, I really.
Now you're starting to think about it. Now we're getting into your head.
Yeah, you're getting into my head because I didn't think of it as that I could do more my own thing. I actually felt from the start like I could do my own thing because I can I'm kind of allowed to do basically everything. You know, there is dynamic enough. We had also last time we also had a ballad, of course, so you can do the soft stuff, you can do the super powerful stuff, anything in between. And yeah, for this album it's also the same. And maybe I just got a better singer because I used all of this, you know. And I never before was in a band that I really used all so intensely. Maybe that's just the thing. Yeah.
As far as the backing, that's a great answer. As far as the backing vocals are concerned on this record, are you doing all of the backing vocals, or are all the other witches joining in with some vocals on the record?
Yeah, sometimes they are. Like we have group shouts, like real group shouts have the other witches, but also Pulver, Smear, because there are some guy vocals, and the choir came. Actually, there was a choir, and I don't know the names exactly. But I know one guy that you also hear as a main voice, kind of main harmony voice on the ballad. That's the Romana's dad, and he's an opera singer in Switzerland, in the opera house in Zurich. And it was just fun. Romana really loved to have him on the album, and this was just a really nice song to have this extra voice in there for the feel and
It works really well. I have to ask you about my favorite song on the album. I mean, I'm not going to sit here with you and not talk about the song that's tattooed in my brain from the first time I went through the record, which is Nine Worlds.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm walking around the house and just singing the chorus of that song nonstop. Nice. I love that track. Ooh,
cool.
How did that song come together? Because it has great vocals, it has great backing vocals, it's a great story. The chorus is super hooky and catchy. How did that track come together?
Yeah, it's a really funny song actually, because we were thinking in the studio also like, does it have too many parts or is it actually fun? But I said, I mean, this was my opinion in the whole story because we were there with, with Pulver, with Smear was there also helping producing, and I was there. I don't know who else anyway, but anyway, we all had a little bit of a different opinion. Like some of us thought, it needs to be maybe a little bit less diverse because you have just small parts in the music that are a little bit different, and then it gets back to the catchiness, you know. But those small parts in between the breaks are always a little bit different in that song. So the discussion was, is it too much or is it actually okay? And because this was the only song that actually had this much variation, we kept it. And personally, I really like it also, of course, because not every song has this, but this stands out in a special way. And it's, because it talks about Ragnarok, it has so much of this story of this, this event of the ending of the world in it. You know, it is a story and it fits, you know, to have it a bit more complex and and I'm really happy you say it because this is also one of my favorites.
Every time I'm listening to that song, I can't wait for the chorus. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not that I don't like what's happening, but everything is almost like the appetizer before you get the main meal, and the main meal is that chorus. That chorus is absolutely delicious.
So for you, it's more about the chorus, actually.
For me, it's all about the chorus.
Okay.
Everything else, I feel it's kind of like building up towards it, and then when you get there, you're like, yes, it's here. The chorus is here.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I felt myself because there's just this little bit more variation in between because it's a pretty long song from what I can remember, right? It's pretty long. I wrote it myself. I forgot how long it is. Anyway,
it's not too long, but yes.
It's a little bit longer than most of them, and I feel like it actually helps because there's something happening and you know the chorus is coming, but because of these little, yeah, I think maybe that's the reason why also the chorus is so catchy or something. Yeah, I'm not sure, but thank you anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to write catchy stuff, so it worked.
And for you, what was the most challenging song vocally on this record?
Oh, good question. Let me think. Jeetje, what a question. I have to look at the
You have to look at the
songs
track
to-
list?
I think, yes, I have to look at the track list to figure it out quickly because it's hard to have them all in my mind at the same time. One moment. I mean, Tainted Ritual is pretty intensive because, yeah, it's intensive because it's really high and melodic. So I have to be melodic in the high parts, and it really takes a lot of power. So, but it's okay. It's not like it's difficult. I mean, it is a little bit, but yeah. And then, for example, Witch of the North it's the same. I think that one I got to practice it beforehand, and I think that's why it's kind of okay. But I think that's the most difficult one because it's very high, but you don't want to make it sound squeaky, you know. So if you just sing along to it, you kind of but if you kind of, I had to practice a bit to make it sound more chest voicey. Like, yeah, for people that don't know what chest voice is, it's just the way I'm talking. It's not the operatic stuff, but it's super high, so you have to mix it. So, I really have to practice that. So I think let's keep it.
So that was to you the one that caused a little bit more headaches, if you will.
Yeah, I had to really practice it. I mean, for some songs, because it's always like this, you start writing and then there's a planning and then you have to go to the studio and there's no more time to really practice. You know what I mean? It just always happens to me. And this time I'm at least happy I could practice that. And yeah, because I kind of needed for that technique, it was nice to be able to do that beforehand. You know?
I have one last question for you, and that is, what's the most fulfilling aspect of working with this band and working with all the people that you've surrounded yourselves with?
Sorry, I was totally zoned out. One more time.
What is the most fulfilling aspect of being in this band, working with these girls and everybody that you guys surrounded yourselves with?
Yeah, what the most fulfilling thing? Yeah, but that's maybe, yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, it's just I just like to have it finished and I like to be happy about it. You know what I mean? And this time I'm super happy about it, and everyone has this feeling also. So we're all together, very happy about what we made, and that's just really nice, you know. So you're like, yeah, that's. I think yeah, that's the fulfilling, right? Was the word?
Yeah, fulfilling.
Yeah, that's the most fulfilling, I think, and hopefully that fans like it too. But at this moment, because we don't know, I mean, the people were pretty positive about Flight of the Valkyries, of course, but I have to wait for the whole album now. But yeah, we're all very happy with what we made, so that's always nice. And then you have it finished, and you see the artwork, and you all together when it's totally finished, and you think, yeah, this is it, you know, and that's nice.
Yeah, your baby goes out to the world.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Perfect. All right, Laura, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. All the best to you and the girls with the release of the album, The Witch of the North, May 28th on Nuclear Blast. Once again, thank you for your time. All the best. Take care.
Yeah, thank you too. Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.